Welcome to the API Helper Screencast. Alright guys, let's get started. So you have installed the app and we are at the main app admin screen inside the Shopify admin. And just to start, so this app helps to streamline ajax requests to a number of external services like Klaviyo, MailChimp, OmniSend, and then some of the Shopify customer APIs and discount APIs. So the app requires you to have a rudimentary understanding of JavaScript, preferably jQuery, and some HTML and CSS knowledge. So the app is probably not good for a basic shop owner who does not understand JavaScript. Okay, so you can see we're in the admin and you see all the different modules that you can activate, or what we call enable. And for the sake of this demonstration, we are going to use an example with Klaviyo, a simple example of a newsletter subscription. So the first thing we need to do is get our public key and then private API key from Klaviyo. And so we'll go over to Klaviyo to see how that's done real quick. And so we're in the Klaviyo admin, and then we go to our account page, and this is again for the API key generation. So we go to account page, settings, API keys, and then we just click create API key. That'll generate us a new one. We can name it so we remember what it's for, and then all we have to do is copy that and paste it into the Shopify app admin like we saw before. And then so next we will go get our list ID. So we go to our lists, we click our specific list that we want, and then we go to settings, and then we will be able to find the list ID straight away. And then we copy that and then we paste that into the app admin as well. And then now we have all the boring stuff done. We'll look at a specific example. So we're here inside of Chrome on a Shopify store, and then we can see that the app the app script is already automatically injected into the shop. Super small, super fast, comes from a CDN. And then what we'll do is we'll first show newsletter sign up, and then we'll show the code behind it. So there's a simple sign up. The form has validation built in with JavaScript, so we'll show that. It's kind of simple. We sign up, goes super fast, and then we get a response, JSON response with a status code, and that'll log out so you can see what's happening, and then we can use that response in the future to do more complicated things. And so here we are inside of our code editor, and we have a simple function with some jQuery that draws a form on the page. And so you can see that the form is super simple. It just has a class name and then a list ID attribute. And so we'll use that when the form is submitted, and then we'll add that to our API helper function. So you can see there the form doesn't have anything hidden. It just has an input with the name, email, and like I said, the attribute for the list ID. So then we'll go to our submit function. So this is just standard jQuery. We have a ready function. We draw the HTML from the function that we saw before, and then we bind a submit function to that. We get the email and the list ID from the attribute, and then we pass that to our API helper function. And so we're using the Klaviyo subscribe that you can see in the docs. We put in our email, we put in our list ID, and then we're using the sign up location for the footer as well. And then when that form is submitted, then this is a bit of an this is a bit of an advanced example, but then we have a form success function because we have three different possibilities for newsletter sign up in this example. And so to provide a little more information about what's happening here, so we have the submit function that we bind to our form, and then you can see just the core API helper function. And what happens is you populate that, you call WB underscore API helper, and then that returns a simple callback once it's done submitting. And you can see we say if there is an error, we do something. In this case, we pop up an alert message. The response is logged, and then we have our form underscore success function, and that's kind of like what we would call our success handler. So that's what we want to do after we receive a successful response. And you can see our form success function basically just identifies which form was submitted by the type attribute, and then we fire a Google Analytics event as well as a Facebook lead event, so we know that someone signed up for our newsletter. And then based on the footer type, then we make changes to the view. So pretty simple stuff, kind of advanced, but generally speaking, once you get the hang of it, you can do whatever you want. And one of the big limitations that we've seen with Shopify is that it's pretty hard to use these external email service providers and do more complicated ajax requests. So that's pretty much it right there. Read the docs. The docs are very, very detailed. They'll tell you how to do everything for each module in the API Helper app. Generally speaking, you can copy paste all of the code from the docs, which are hosted on GitHub, and should be pretty straightforward. And you can email us if you have any questions. That's it. Thank you.